Hello everyone, Gaara here and welcome to part 2 of my Kobolds and Catacombs review. So let's check out the new cards that I've missed yesterday and also, more importantly, the card back that you get if you pre-order the new expansion. Wow, look at this sick card back. Pock a chomp is what I say to that. And on top of it, we will get a new game board. Wow. Amazing. Look at the treasure chest in the top right, or the super cool hammer. No, but jokes aside, I think this is a very cool looking game board. I really want to like spam click that chest. So let's get into the new cards, shall we? So there's 10 new cards to talk about in today's video. And let's kick this off with the legendary mage weapon, Alunef. So first of all, I love to have powerful weapons just because we have existing counterplay in the game. We have cards like Harrison Jones or Ooze, and those cards would definitely see more play if these cards are gonna become the meta, those legendary weapons. So in what kind of deck would you want to play the Alunef weapon? It doesn't really quite fit in a mage control deck just because of the potential of milling yourself and the opponent just, ignoring this weapon and let you mill yourself. It's very difficult for a control mage to get free cards out every single turn just because of how expensive your cards are. Cards like Blizzard or Flamestrike and whatnot, or like the late game threats. You can usually just play one of them. You will just mill yourself and fatigue yourself. If a control mage would play this, Coldlight Oracle might become a super popular card as well. Because you can make your opponent mill so many cards. And this card has like way too big of a drawback because you can't like kill it yourself, this weapon. You can only equip another weapon to kill it. For example, you can go Medivh, but I don't know how consistent that would be. You can go Alunef and then Medivh to stop the card draw. That might actually see play because Medivh is definitely a popular card in control mages. Where this might actually see more consistently play is aggro secret tempo mage. Those kind of decks, just because those decks can play the Kirin Tor mage and the secret and play the Kabaleki, for instance, and just play a bunch of secrets and then reduce the cost of the 6-drop that gets reduced by every secret, and you can just flood the board with cheap cards. So this card might actually be a very powerful card in aggro mage because it just gives you so many resources and then your opponent really has to deal with it. If you play this and you flood the board at the same turn, the opponent can't really just play on Harrison Jones because he has to address your board. So this might be an extremely powerful card in tempo mages. At least this is a legendary weapon, so we'll not see being played like that often, so it seems definitely powerful in that kind of archetype. So the next card we have is Unidentified Elixir. It is a priest spell for 3 mana and it buffs a minion by +2 attack and +2 health. And what is very interesting about this, that it gains a random effect after you draw it, so you get one of 4 cards. So you either buff a minion by +2/+2 and give it Lifesteal, Divine Shield, summon a 1/1 copy of it, or give it Death Rattle, give this minion back to your hand. So what is interesting about a 3 mana buff that we have had before, which was the Valence Chosen, it saw definitely a lot of play just because of the +4 health. It was very similar to this card. So this card buffs the health of the minion by 2 less and you don't get the spell power, but you get another amazing effect. So you get like a Divine Shield. 3 mana +2/+2 with Divine Shield is not too bad if you think about, you can buff a Cleric and suddenly this a 3/5 and Divine Shield and you can, do value trades. But yeah, the problem I have with this card is really the random aspect of it. So if you want Divine Shield but you draw Lifesteal, and if you're behind, that Lifesteal might be useless, or you might build a deck around the Death Rattle effect of getting the minion back, or summoning the 1/1 copy of it in a, like, say, a quest priest deck. So I'm not too sure how much I like this card. In currently existing priest decks, you wouldn't play this. You wouldn't play this in a big priest, you wouldn't play this in a Razakus priest. It just doesn't do enough. You don't have like that many minions in the deck and it doesn't draw you more cards. Or in silence priest, I'm not quite sure if the stats are good enough. You do play buff cards in Silence Priest, but you need to have more health buff for this to be viable. So I'm not quite sure in what kind of archetype you would even run this. Maybe in like a new Tempo Priest deck. But yeah, like we don't have that archetype right now. I mean, the effect is not bad. It's a powerful card. It's just that it doesn't really fit an existing priest archetype. So you would play this like in different priest decks for sure. Maybe you can combine this with Pyromancer and whatnot, like in a control priest deck. But definitely interesting to see, because it's definitely not a bad card. So the next card we have is the Lesser Jesper Spellstone. It is a druid spell for 1 mana with a brand new mechanic. Let's call it the upgrade mechanic. So the first version of the card, let's call it level 1, is deal 2 damage to a minion. And the upgrade effect is gain 3 armor to upgrade. So if you have this card in your hand and you gained 3 armor for, let's say, Feral Rage or Malfurion Hero Power, then this card deals suddenly 4 damage for 1 mana, which is level 2. And on level 3, if you gained 3 armor twice, it does suddenly 6 damage for 1 mana, which is quite powerful, and especially powerful in Druid, because Druid really struggles with taking out like mid-range or big minions, and yeah, dealing 6 damage for 1 mana will definitely help out with that. This card might even bring back Auctioneer. You know, you might go back to for the full cycle version with like, maybe not Earthen Scales, but the Mark of the Lotus and Lesser Jesper Spellstone, because it will also help you clear the board with the Auctioneer. No, definitely Earthen Scales when I think about it. You can play Auctioneer, Earthen Scales, and then suddenly this card gets an upgrade and actually quite powerful, and then you clear the board and cycle. It's a very cool card. It definitely fits in a Druid and the playstyle in Control Druid, Jade Druids. So a powerful card will definitely see play in an interesting new mechanic. So the next card we have is the Lesser Sapphire Spellstone. It's another upgrade card, this time for the Shaman class. So the level 1 of this card is summon 1 copy of a friendly minion for 7 mana, which is quite bad. It's pretty much a faceless manipulator, but only on your own minions. It gets interesting if you upgrade this card. Whenever you overload 3 mana crystals, you upgrade this card, and the level 2 would be summon 2 copies of a friendly minion, and the level 3 would be summon 3 copies of a friendly minion. So you can just play, let's say, an Arcane Giant or Frost Giant, whatever, or Ice Giant, whatever the new giant is, and then play this card and summon 3 copies of it, and you have like a super powerful board. Again, a very interesting card. The problem is that overloading 3 mana crystals is quite a lot. You usually tend to not play cards that overload you for too much in Shaman, just because the overload cards we have are not that powerful. But maybe if the upcoming expansion we will get new overload cards, I really expect that, which are pretty powerful. Yeah, then you can probably maybe build a new deck around it. I see this not being playable now with the next expansion, just because of Jade Druid. Jade Druid pretty much and Razakus Priest keep all these new control archetypes in check. The only new control cards that will be viable are cards that will improve the Razakus Priest Jade Druid. I don't think that a new Shaman control archetype can emerge with the next expansion that can contest the meta. It can be like a tier 3 deck, but we might have to wait for next year for the yearly rotation for this to be like a dominant deck. But yeah, it's a very interesting mechanic, and it's hard to say what kind of decks you can build with this. Yes, it works with the giants, but further than that, yeah, we don't really have such a deck right now. It's an interesting, cool concept and a cool card. So the next card we have is the Gilt Recruit. It is a neutral minion for 5 mana. It has 2 attack, 4 health, and Battlecry Recruit a minion costs 4 or less. So Recruit is pretty much the Isharash effect in a card. So basically you summon a random minion from your deck with 4 mana or less. What immediately comes to your mind is you try to figure out the strongest minions you can summon for 4 mana. And Flamery Faceless would probably be the strongest minion you can summon for 4 mana. Since pretty much every deck control decks or aggro decks are playing a bunch of cheap minions. It's very random, so you could just, you know, summon fireflies with it. But yeah, in what kind of deck could you play this? You can't play this in like a big priest or big druid just because it has to be a minion for mana or less. And building a big shaman with this card seems very difficult because there's only Flame Wreath Faceless that you want to summon with him. And this is for 5 mana, so it wouldn't even be that crazy powerful. So I don't think this card will see too much play. Maybe with the new cards, maybe we will see new cards that fit well with this. Maybe something like a Silence Priest. Have to see. It's not awful or unplayably bad, but it doesn't seem like super powerful. It's like an okay card, and it might have some great synergies with new cards that we will see from this expansion. So the next card we have is a Hunter Secret, Wandering Monster. When an enemy attacks your hero, summon a 3-cost minion as the new target. For me, what comes to my mind first is random, so you can super low roll with this card. You can get a 1/1, or you can get King Mukla, which is a 5/5. So depending on how you feel, how lucky you feel that day, this can heavily affect the power level of this card. On average, I would say Bear Trap is just better because you always get a 3/3 taunt minion. And does Bear Trap see any play right now? No. So Hunter is pretty bad right now. Bear Trap is arguably better than this card and doesn't see any play right now. So will this card see play? We will see. Like, it does buff the Hunter legendary for 4 mana. That gives you like more secrets. And this is like an playable secret, I would say. And yeah, but Hunter needs way more help than this, so have to see. It's like a decent secret. If you play secrets in Hunter, you will play this card. If you don't play secrets in Hunter, you will not play this card. This is pretty much what it comes down to. So the next card we have is another neutral minion, this time for 5 mana. It is the Carnivorous Cube. It has 4 attack, 6 health. Battlecry, destroy a friendly minion. Definitely will summon 2 copies of it. So crazy combos synergy with this, but usually combo decks are not very viable in Hearthstone except they have some crazy win conditions. Yeah, you can do very cool combos with this. You can use this on the eggs. You can destroy the eggs. Get, for example, the 5/5 Raptor. And then when this guy dies, you get 2 eggs back. And if you play, let's say, an egg hunter, then you can, you know, just resummon the egg. So it seems like very, very powerful in those kind of decks. It might even seem like playing like Zooish decks. And you start including the egg, or yeah, just killable death rattle minions. So seems very interesting. The stats are not awful. Playable stats for sure for 5 mana. The 5 mana slot is kind of weak in Hearthstone for most classes right now. So yeah, this card could see play in multiple decks. Can see play in a Nazov deck because it is a 5 mana death rattle guy. It's not too bad. Interesting, cool effect. Seems playable to me. And yeah. Alright, the next card we have is Rin, the First Disciple. It is a 6 mana 3/6 taunt death rattle, add the first seal to your hand. So yeah, the way how this works is you get a seal card. It costs 5 mana every time, and the first seal is summon a 2/2 demon, add the second seal to your hand, and then you get the second seal, and then you get the 3/3 demon, and so forth. You have to do it 5 times, and then you summon a 6/6 demon, and you add Azari the Devourer to your hand, and Azari the Devourer has the effect Battlecry, destroy your opponent's entire deck. Yeah, it's a 10 mana 10/10. So super ultra slow. It's like the slowest win condition the world has ever seen. And yeah, it's pretty much unplayable. I don't see this card being played in any Warlock deck. It's just so slow. It's like you have to pay 5 mana every time, and the first seal already only gives you like a 2/2 demon, and you can pretty much never afford in Hearthstone to spend 5 mana and to get a 2/2. So yeah, it's really weak. Yes, it has some synergy with Gul'dan because you get a full board of demons, but usually just a full board of pretty weak demons, and you have to spend so much mana to just get really weak minions, and you have to do it 5 times, and then in the end you have like the Devourer. But on top of it, the Rin, the First Disciple, can be silenced, and then you don't even get the first seal. So yeah, seems too slow to be competitively viable, but it's a cool idea, I guess. The next card we have is Cobalt Illusionist. It is a rogue card. 4 mana 3/3, Death Rattle, summon a 1/1 copy of a minion from your hand. I don't see this card being too powerful. It has like really weak stats, and you would play this in like a Death Rattle rogue deck or a Malygos rogue deck, but it seems so inconsistent, and the existing rogue decks just seem so much more powerful, or the playstyle seems so much more powerful. I don't think you want to go that route with rogue because you have no board clears or no health generation. So yeah, you can abuse this. You can do this like a Dreadsteed. If you have this twice, like one in your hand and one on the board, and it's like a gimmicky effect. I don't think this card is too powerful. We'll see too much play, but it's, yeah, you can do some gimmicky stuff with it. So the final card we have is Gulch Jayla. It is a new Paladin 2-drop. Death Rattle, add 3 silver hand recruits to your hand. So this card seems extremely powerful if you think about all the stuff you can do with this card. So first of all, this card is very interesting with the hand buff mechanic, just because you get multiple cards in your hand that you can buff. So you have like a lot of resources. But on top of it, this works really well with cards like Twilight Drake or Mountain Giant. So this might actually enable a big Paladin deck. Yeah, getting 3 recruits is definitely not bad, and there's like synergies with recruits already in the game. So yeah, it's kind of crazy. Having 3 tokens in your hand is definitely a big deal for a card like Mountain Giant, and yeah, it's very interesting card for sure. And the tokens can be used in very different ways, right? You can use them on the board and then buff them with kings, or like with Spikewood Steed. It's actually really not bad for Paladin to have tokens. But yeah, you can play cards like Mountain Giants very early in the game, which also seems extremely powerful. Very interesting new 2-drop. So you're maybe not forced to always auto-include Hydrologist and Doomsayer, which you pretty much have to do now in Control Paladin. And if you can play Twilight Drake and Mountain Giant, you might actually have enough pressure against Razaku's Priest or Jade Druid. So it's like a new way to pressure those decks. So very, very cool, interesting card. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to if this will make Control Paladin in a different way viable again. And yeah, that's it. Those are all the brand new 10 cards. I hope you guys enjoyed this review as always. Also make sure to check out my next review, which should be coming live as soon as we have more information of the upcoming expansion. Yeah, thanks so much for tuning in. Also make sure to check out my daily streams. Link to that is in the description. If you enjoyed this video, please leave me a like, comment and subscribe. Thanks so much for watching. Have a nice day and see you guys next time. Peace.